Gary Young farms 320 acres. Not big by Nebraska standards, but on that land he is raising 30 cows and 6 daughters. That can make a man watch his pennies. Gary Young built a solar panel on the side of his house. It saves him 1/3 on his heating bill. In the fall, it also dries his harvest for 2 cents a bushel, instead of the 15 cents his neighbors pay for propane. Gary Young can process 7 times the grain for the same amount of money. That helps the Youngs stay ahead. When Gary and his wife Dolores were married 20 years ago, a loaf of bread was 20 cents. Today, 20 cents buys about 3 slices. The wheat farmer who grew the grain 20 years ago got less than 2 cents. Today, he is still getting less than a nickel. 7 years ago, Gary Young built a new energy-efficient dairy barn to replace one built at the turn of the century. The Farmers Home Administration offered to lend him $100,000 to construct it. He refused.
I didn't think I could pay for that big a barn, for that much money barn. And the way the situation is right now, I know I couldn't have.
He built this smaller barn for $40,000, put in solar heat, and saved another 1/4 on his fuel bill. Gary has increased his herd's milk production by 50%. His efficiency keeps him in business, but just barely. He's not making a profit.
This last year, we had to draw off of savings. We took just about all the savings.
But if Gary Young is not making a profit from his efficiency, the consumer is taking a whopping loss. American cows produce more milk than people buy. The federal government absorbs the overflow and stacks tons of dried milk, cheese, and butter in warehouses. The cost of all that adds 10 cents to the price of a gallon of milk in the grocery store. Gary Young fits our image of the American family farmer, but agriculture is changing. Dennis Broderson runs his hog farm like a factory. He specializes in a single product, does extensive market analysis, and carefully breeds his hogs to meet the demand. And unlike the milk farmer getting by on sacrifice and subsidy, Broderson finds his blue ribbon hogs in such demand that he can set his own price. This winter, Dennis built 2 new barns and expanded his operation. His father, Orrin, now keeps company records on a computer.
There isn't as much scoop, shovel, and pitchfork work as there used to be.
Modern corporate farms like the Brodersons now produce most of the food in this country. Yet most of the farmers still run family operations like Gary Young's. And with tough, cost-efficient procedures, some of them manage to hang on. Gary Young was one of 48 low-income Nebraska farmers who have taken part in an energy savings program for 8 years. 47 are still in business.
We better be concerned about the small farm, or otherwise it's gonna take and cost you everything you have to live, just to buy groceries.
No one has a God-given right to stay in business. Yet throughout our history, farm families have felt a sacred trust in what they do. That is why the disintegration of the family farm is especially painful. Gary Young believes the families who survive on their land may well be those who practice an old-time virtue, self-reliance. Bob Dotson, NBC News, Cedar County, Nebraska.